What's up, guys? Alvaro here, and welcome to the bilingual stock market channel again. On this channel, we talk about the markets and we do it in English and Spanish as well, so you can pick your preferred language. And in this video, and as I do at Mondays through Thursdays, I want to make a quick stock market update. So I want to break down some technicals going over S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. And at the end of this video, I am also going to break down from a technical standpoint 4 stocks that tomorrow are going to be on the very top of my personal watch list. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. And today we had a red day all across the board. The Russell 2000 was the worst performing index, going down 1.16%. Nasdaq went down 0.33%. Dow Jones went down 0.58%, and the S&P 500 went down 0.26%. We can make the case, guys, maybe that since COVID-19 cases are rising in Europe, once again, that might have spooked the markets, and that might be the main reason why we had a red day all across the board. And something that is worth pointing out over here, guys, and if we take a look at the sectors that trade inside the S&P 500, is that the inflation trade was absolutely killed today. When I talk about the inflation trade, I am talking about industrials, materials, financials, and energy. Those were the worst performing sectors today in the S&P 500. The financial sector, such an important sector inside the S&P 500, went down today, guys, 1.15%. The 10-year Treasury yield dropped today almost 2%. So the markets are undecided, guys. So we are supposed to have inflation fears as of now, but on the flip side, we saw the 10-year Treasury yield going down today a lot, and the financial sector, the energy sector, materials, industrials, which, as I said before, are sectors that should be benefiting from inflation fears, dropped like a rock today, guys. So someone is lying over here. And on top of that, the best performing sector today was consumer discretionary. Almost the best performing sector was consumer discretionary. The best performing sector was real estate, going up 0.65%. But the second best performing sector today was consumer discretionary, basically because of Amazon and Tesla. So we have sectors that should be benefiting from inflation fears going down. We have the 10-year Treasury yield going down as well, which, as you guys know, is an inflation indicator. And on top of that, we have very expensive stocks such as Netflix, Tesla going up. And on top of that, guys, if we take a deeper look into what happened today in the markets, we had a very weak day. Not only because financial went down and the energy sector went down, but mainly because we had once again only a handful of stocks doing the heavy lifting. When I mean a handful of stocks, I am talking about the Microsoft of the world, the Teslas of the world, the Netflix of the world, and the Amazons of the world. So only a handful of stocks did the heavy lifting today. And if we happen to have, let's say, inflation fears as of now, that's what the, let's say, media, the financial media is saying right now. So the markets are doing quite the opposite, because the big capital of Wall Street is going after expensive stocks, or at least the big tech names. So someone is lying over here. This is a puzzle piece that we have on the table. And let's see what happens, guys, because today we had a very weak day. If it hadn't been by the handful of stocks that I just told you about, and taking into account that the financial sector dropped 1.15%, we would have had a bloodbath today in the market. So we really need the financial sector to recover tomorrow and into the closing of the current trading week. Otherwise, if the tech sector gives up tomorrow, or the handful of stocks that I just told you about take a rest tomorrow, and at the same time the financial sector keeps on going down, then we have a recipe for a bloodbath. So this is something that we need to keep a close watch on. And before going over the indices and Mind you guys, there is not really much to say about the indices because we had a very narrow point range day today, so I don't have much to say when it comes to the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100. But before going over those indices, I want to show you some trades that I took in today's trading session, starting out with Facebook, guys. And this was a loss that I took today. This was a ship burger that I had earlier this morning. So let me show you over here. So let me pull up here the history of Facebook or Meta platforms. So this morning I purchased 50 shares of Facebook at $344.14, paying $17,207. This trade initially was working out pretty well, guys, because Facebook went up to $347 or something like that at some point. As soon as I opened this trade, I had a $150 trade. However, I didn't close the trade and the trade turned against me, guys. It happens, business as usual. So Facebook ended up pulling back a lot and it went below my average price, and I decided to cut the loss at $342.13. And I was paid $17,106, so I pretty much took a $100 loss over here. This is business as usual. I moved on and I looked for another trade. So I sold a covered call, 4 covered calls actually, guys, on DraftKings. So let me show you. As of now, I own 400 shares of the stock of this company. I have an average cost of $41.93, and as of now I have a sizable loss. I am not worried at all, guys, about this loss of $1,700 because I am just loading up and taking advantage of this very nice tip that DraftKings is offering to us as of now. So, and since I own 400 shares, I sold 4 covered calls, guys, with a strike price of $45. So honestly, guys, if I happen to be assigned on February 18, if I have to sell out of my 400 shares at $45 on February 18, that is going to be pretty good for the most part, guys, because I was paid today $972. This money was credited to my account. And if my average cost is at around $41, and since I own 400 shares, I am going to be making $1,600 more out of this trade. So I don't mind being assigned on February 18, and today I was paid $972. So clearly, guys, selling covered calls is a win-win strategy. And now let me show you another stock with which I sold covered calls today. So no, I actually sold a put over here, right? Yeah. So Virgin Galactic, I own 100 shares at an average cost of $26.19. As of now, I have an unrealized loss of $831. So today, let me see, I sold 2 put options. All right, so these puts expire on March 18 with a strike price of $16. I do believe, guys, that next year, in March of next year, SPCE is very likely to be above $16. I could be mistaken because I don't have the crystal ball, but I think that we are going to get good news next year about the the beginning of the suborbital trips of Virgin Galactic. So I was paid $380 for selling these 2 contracts, these 2 put options that expire on March. So between the puts that I sold of Virgin Galactic, of SPCE, plus the 4 covered calls that I sold of DraftKings, I ended up making today $1,200 minus the ship burger that I had on Facebook of $100. I can make the case that today I made $1,100. So I have absolutely nothing to complain about today's trading session. Now let's go ahead and take a look quickly, guys, because there is not really much to say about the S&P 500. So let's go ahead and talk about the S&P, which went down today 0.26%, and it closed today's trading session at 4,688 points. And take a look at the trading session that we had today, guys. A very narrowed range trading session that unfolded within a 20-point range, guys. A very tough trading session in order to take a day trade. Maybe we can make the case that that's a reason why my day trade on Facebook didn't work out. So, in technical terms, guys, in pure technical terms, what we saw today was a process of consolidation that is still going on, slightly below 4,700. Remember, and I just told you in the introduction of this video, today we had a very weak day because only a handful of stocks did the heavy lifting. If that handful of stocks happens to take a rest tomorrow and the other stocks that underperform today happen to underperform tomorrow, we have the recipe for a nice red day in the markets tomorrow. From a technical standpoint, we can make the case that the bulls are consolidating slightly below 4,700 points, and that if the bulls can take on 4,700 points tomorrow, then they might be able to fill the next gap up to 4,714, which happens to be all-time high for the S&P 500. The RSI of the S&P is at 59 points, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with this tape other than the fact that we know that we had today a lot of weakness inside the S&P 500. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq 100 quickly as well, because there is not really much to say over here. I actually want to go over quickly the Russell 2000, guys. There is something that I want to point out. So the Nasdaq 100 closed flat today at 16,308 points. And if I zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, we basically had a consolidation day slightly above 16,300 points, guys. Mind you, and as I just said, only a handful of stocks did the heavy lifting today. So if that handful of stocks happen to take a rest tomorrow and the rest of the stocks that trade inside the Nasdaq 100 happen to keep on underperforming, then we could see a drop in the case of the NDX, in which case I am going to keep a close watch on 16,150 points as a possible area of lower support. We are talking about a former area of support back from November 16, and also an area of overhead resistance back from November 3rd. But other than that, and other than the fact that we know that today we had a lot of weakness inside the Nasdaq 100, clear uptrend, we are trading above the moving averages, relative strength index at 65 points, so there is absolutely nothing wrong with the tape of the Nasdaq 100. And I told you guys that I wanted to show you quickly, and I'm going to do it before going over NVIDIA, the 4-hour chart of the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 went down today 1.16%, and watch out for 2,360 points, guys. Let me draw a line over here, because at this area, at this level, guys, we are talking about the upper line of this horizontal channel in which the Russell 2000 traded since February of this year. So this would be a very bad sign for the Russell 2000 if the bears happen to be able to take on 2,360 points, and needless to say, if they can also take this 50 SMA on the 4-hour chart. So this is a bit concerning. We need to keep a close watch on the Russell 2000, because as I just told you guys, when it comes to the S&P and the Nasdaq 100, there is absolutely nothing wrong over there. But in the case of the Russell 2000, remember, for many people, the many investors, the Russell 2000 is a leading indicator, and if 2,360 points happens to be broken to the downside, we might see a huge drop in the case of the Russell 2000. And now let's go ahead and take a look at NVIDIA, which is going to be the very first stock of this video. And let's see if they already reported earnings, and I think they did, right? So NVIDIA went down today 3.12%, and it closed today's trading session at $292.61. Let me pull up here the 1 day, 1 minute, and NVIDIA is going up after hours. Not much, guys, because take into account that NVIDIA closed today's trading session at $305, and it went down today 3%. So it is pretty much recovering the gains that it gave up during today's trading session. So let's see what is going on in the case of NVIDIA. Come on, Thinkorswim, help me out over here. So NVIDIA Q3 adjusted EPS came in at $1.17, beating the estimate of $1.10, and sales came in at $7.10 billion. Wow, beating the estimate of $6.83 billion. So they beat on sales by a long shot, guys. We can make the case that they beat on EPS in a humble way, not by much, but when it comes to sales, they really crushed sales. So let's see if we have the commercial guidance for Q4, and we do. We have it available. So NVIDIA sees Q4 sales at $7.4 billion, beating the estimate of $6.86 billion. This was a beat all across the board, guys. So very solid earnings report for NVIDIA. And we can make the case that the stock of this company isn't doing much because it was already priced to perfection. So we didn't see a drop. I was hoping NVIDIA to come down to $244 with this earnings report. This isn't going to happen unless we happen to see a big correction of the markets. So NVIDIA is trading at $300 pretty much as of now, guys. So watch out tomorrow for a breakout of NVIDIA of $305, which happens to be an area of overhead resistance in which NVIDIA has failed on 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 occasions in recent days, guys. So this might be a legit momentum trade, because if the bulls of NVIDIA can take on $305 and good volume and momentum tomorrow, this is a very possible scenario, I'm afraid. They are going to be able to fill the next gap up to $327. We are looking, guys, at a 6.38% profit trade. Nothing to sneeze at, so very good for NVIDIA. They deserve an ovation over here, and they did pretty well, guys. So watch out for this momentum trade tomorrow from $305 up to $327. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the second stock of this video, Dutch Bros. And in the case of Dutch Bros, the stock of this company has been under pressure, guys. It went down today 6.08%, and it closed today's trading session at $56.86. So I am going to pull up here the 1 hour chart. And guys, I'm thinking, no, I need the 4 hour chart rather. Sorry about that. I'm thinking that if tomorrow, guys, because take a look at the relative strength index of Bros, it is at 30 points. So the stock of this company is about to enter into oversold territory. So I'm thinking that if tomorrow the stock of this company pays a visit to $53.12, which happens to be a previous area of resistance back from late September, the relative strength index of Bros is going to be even lower, and that is going to increase the likelihood for the bulls of Bros to find support at a previous area of resistance and then bounce back up. If I were able to take this trade the way that I am describing it, from $53.50 up to $59, which is going to be the next important area of overhead resistance for Bros, I am looking at an 11% profit trade, nothing to sneeze at, as I just said, in the case of NVIDIA. $59.50 is a previous area of support back from late October, so don't sleep on Bros, guys. And mind you, we need to make sure first, before taking this trade, that $53.50 is actually providing a good support. But I do believe that since the stock of this company is already oversold, now the relative strength index is pointing at 29 points, this stock could find support, guys, at $53.50 and then bounce back up. And now let's go ahead and take a look at Lucid Motors, which was absolutely crazy today, guys. So let me show you here in the case of Lucid. Lucid went down today 5.35%, and it closed today's trading session at $52.55. But let me pull up here, guys, the 1 day, 1 minute. Take a look at the total insanity that unfolded after hours yesterday and today pre-market. So Lucid hit $62 today at 7:38 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Since Lucid closed today's trading session at $52.55, then we can make the case that the stock of this company retraced today 15%. And mind you, guys, Morgan Stanley put out a price target for Lucid of $16. I don't know what time did Morgan Stanley's report come out, But maybe that's a reason why we saw this 15% drop in the case of Lucid. So Lucid is obviously due for a sizable pullback. And I'm thinking, guys, I'm going to tell you pretty much the same scenario that I discussed in yesterday's video. I'm thinking that $48.34, which happens to be a previous area of resistance back from November 8th, might provide a good support if visited in an aggressive way, guys. I am going to be looking at Lucid tomorrow like a hawk. Because take a look at the relative strength index. It is at 56 points, so Lucid is no longer overbought. So if we happen to start a position on Lucid at $48.50, $48.40, and if the stock of this company happens to bounce back up from this price, and if we sell out of our shares at $53.76, which acted as overhead resistance today, we're looking at an 11% profit. So don't sleep on Lucid. And obviously, guys, and as I just said in the case of Dutch Bros, we need to confirm that $48.30 is providing a good support, or if I happen to start this trade, I am going to place a tight stop loss, because since Morgan Stanley says that Lucid Motors price target a year out should be, or let's say that since Morgan Stanley is saying that Lucid Motors price 1 year out should be $16, we have to be very, but very careful over here, because we could see a sizable correction anytime soon in the case of Lucid. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Alibaba, which is reporting earnings tomorrow pre-market. And mind you, guys, most of the Chinese stocks had a very tough day today because Baidu reported earnings this morning, or yesterday, I think. I took a look at the earnings report of Baidu, and it was a decent earnings report. They down-guided, nothing crazy. They missed an EPS, a small miss, and they beat on revenue, I think. So it was an acceptable earnings report, but let's say that that Baidu's earnings report was taken by the markets like a preamble of what Baba is going to report tomorrow. And mind you, tomorrow before open we have Baba, and we also have JD.com reporting earnings. So Baba went down today 4.07%, and it closed today's trading session at $161.58. So I am going to zoom in here on the 4-hour chart, and I'm thinking, guys, that the markets are going to be relentless with Baba. If Baba happens to miss on earnings tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a massive drop down to $147. $147 is a previous area of resistance in which Baba failed back on October 1st. This would be a drop for Baba of almost 8.54%, but you guys already know. And even though Xi Jinping and Biden had a, let's say, friendly virtual meeting on Monday, the markets don't want to have anything to do with Chinese stocks as of now. That narrative might change later on down the road, but as of now, the markets are being relentless. Anything China related or any potential negative catalyst regarding China stocks is being amplified by the media, and most people don't want to deal with Chinese stocks as of now, guys. Let's just put it that way. So I'm thinking that a bad earnings report of Baba is gonna take the stock of this company down to $147. And on the flip side, guys, I am not expecting much, because Baba has a very strong resistance at $170. Baba has failed at $170 on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 occasions in the most recent months. So I'm thinking that the highest that Baba could potentially be going tomorrow if the stock of this company happens, or if this company happens to post a way better than expected earnings report, is going to be $170. So I don't really have high expectations when it comes to Baba's or Alibaba's earnings report that is coming out tomorrow before open. And now let's go ahead and take a look at the last stock of this video. Tattooed Chef. And in the case of Tattooed Chef, guys, this was unbelievable yesterday. So yesterday at around noon, Tattooed Chef officially announced that they were pushing back their earnings report once again. And near the closing bell, the earnings report got leaked. Unbelievable. I never saw something like this, guys. And the reaction of the market was actually positive, even though Tattooed Chef failed on earnings or missed on earnings. So Tattooed Chef went up today 14.81%, and it closed today's trading session at $18.30. So let me pull up here the live news tab and let me see if I have the report handy. So EPS, obviously a negative EPS. This is not a profitable company yet. Came in at 10 cents, missing the estimate of 5 cents, and sales came in at $58.80 million with M, missing the estimate of $63.95 million. And when it comes to guidance, I think that they also down-guided, guys. Let me see if I have the guidance over here. Okay, so full year 2021 sales are expected at $210 million versus from $210 million up to $215 million versus $239.4 million estimate. So they missed all across the board, and Tattooed Chef went on an absolute tear today, guys. Take a look at the 1 day, 1 minute. The stock of this company opened at $16, and at some point it had gone up to $19. This was a push to the upside of almost 18%. Unbelievable. So I'm thinking, guys, that the good momentum isn't gone. And I believe, because as I just said, Tattooed Chef closed today's trading session at $18.30. I'm thinking, guys, that if tomorrow the bulls of Tattooed Chef can take on, once again, $18.30 and good volume and momentum, and since the relative strength index of the stock of this company is at 64 points, they are going to be very, but very likely to fill the next gap up to $19.82. Keep in mind that $18.30 is an important area from a technical standpoint for Tattooed Chef, because we are talking about a former area of resistance back from late October, also back from early May, and we are also talking about a former area of support back from late March. So if we were able to take this trade the way that I am describing it, from $18.30 up to $19.82, we are looking at an 8% profit, nothing to sneeze at. And when I say $19.82, we are talking about a former area of support back from early July, also back from late June, and also back from late May. So don't sleep on Tattooed Chef, guys. I think that momentum is here, and from a technical standpoint, I wouldn't be surprised at all if the stock of this company happens to be able to fill this next gap up to $19.78. So watch out for Tattooed Chef. And with the chef, I am going to wrap up this video. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much for hanging out with me once again. Remember and keep in mind that here on the Bilingual Stock Market channel, we are posting stock market update videos Mondays through Thursdays, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. So if you want to get all of the notifications of all of our videos in a timely manner, you have to be subscribed to this YouTube channel, but you also need to activate the notification bell right up there. Follow us on Instagram as well, guys, at Bilingual Stock Market. And remember that this is the Bilingual Stock Market channel, the YouTube channel in which we talk about the markets, and we do it in English and Spanish as well. So you can pick your preferred language, but most importantly, this is the YouTube channel in which we know that the wonderful world of Wall Street is not for geniuses, it is for entrepreneurs just like you guys and myself. My name is Alvaro, and I will see you guys tomorrow once again, 3 or 4 hours after the market closes. Peace out.